Um, we have a show today, and apparently we have a co-host today. Maybe not. Dad is not amused by baby's antics, but go ahead.
Yes, yes. So we
That was the
say.
biggest burp ever.
So we say stacking satoshis, stacking your ounces. Definitely anything else you may be involved in. Stay stacking, stay getting pieces of it. Stay getting your portion of the wealth transfer. So that's a bit, it's really a big thing. We're gonna wait for a little bit for people to come in the room, so we'll chop up some small things until we get into the real meat and potatoes. So for all my people, I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, if you will, right? Holiday weekend spent with family and friends, and that's what we did. We just spent it with family and friends, and we had a great time. Also, I want to say for my sports fans, hopefully you had a happy opening day weekend. And if you are a baseball fan and your team, hopefully your team did well over the weekend. So we're about 4 games in. So 4 games in to 162. So drop in the water, but it's fun. Opening day weekend is always fun, even if you get to experience it yourself. You're there actually. We used to go to open day weekend, go to opening day parade, and it was great with the family. It was fun, a lot of fun. Also, for my people, NCAA, a people Final Four popping off Final Four. So I believe, if I have it correct, it's UConn versus Alabama and Purdue versus North Carolina State. So that's the Final Four there. So we got the Final Four. That's a big deal for all my NCAA fans. I'm a big NCAA fan, and I love March Madness. But so for you guys out there, hopefully your team did well if you're in one of those 4 teams, the 4 areas. What else? What else is going on, popping off till we get into it?
Today is April 1st. So for those of you who are doing the 12-week year and you are setting up your goals to achieve, remember the 12-week year, you treat every week like a month. And you can typically get almost 4 years of activity, as the one in the background is getting 4 years of activity, all in one calendar year. So I'm hoping that you guys who are interested in trying to get a lot done this quarter have already set your goals, jotted them down somewhere, wrote them down, have an agenda. I know some of you have bought the Achiever's Agenda by Clever Fox,
Yeah.
which gives you a 13-week agenda, just in case, obviously, something goes wrong and you miss a week.
Yeah.
But we already have our agenda set. We were able to accomplish some great things today. So quarter 2, day 1, is off to a really great start for us.
It is. It is. I mean, it's a great start. It's also April Fool's Day, so I hope you guys had fun with that if you partake in April Fool's Day.
And it's really the first day of spring.
Yeah.
So, if any time was a time to set a New Year's resolution, today would actually be the day. So, with that being said, I think I still want to give it, it's not quite 7 yet, maybe
Okay.
5 after 7 when we have a few more people in the room. We'll get started. I don't know, I gave Tino a popsicle, icy or whatever, so he's got a burst of energy. Hopefully he doesn't, he don't make y'all tired. Hi, baby.
Oh man, look behind
Crip
you.
Work said look behind you because that's all she's saying. And Will Hobdy, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
I hope the little one is okay. He's our 4th child, so these little things don't bother us. If he was our 1st child, I'd probably send him to his room, but if he's having fun, then leave the baby, let him have fun. But in the meanwhile, Simon gave you guys reminders, stacking. You often hear me say bailamos con Bitcoin,
Yeah.
meaning we dance with Bitcoin. It is still doing the dance between, I'm gonna say 68 and 70 right now.
68. It should be 69. I'm looking here.
I just want to get it like to the minute. It's 69,728 as of April 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hi, dear Bit. I hope you had a blessed holiday weekend as well. I do want to remind you guys, I was able to get custody of my email back, but I still have to kind of jump through some hoops with it since it is a business email and see what type of damage was done. So we do want to still continue using the assets.arbitrage@gmail.com. It's in the drop down if you're trying to get in touch with us. Please do not send any more messages to the old email. I have to go through it and they're investigating to see if, any type of fraud or anything was conducted with the business email. So, reminder, Bitcoin Zay. Oh, it's Jessie from Toy Story, everyone. See? It's cowgirl. All right, go take her back to Woody and Buzz. Bitcoin Zay's book is anticipated to come out on Juneteenth. If you guys need any type of information, want to know how you can do a pre-sale or get your hands on this book, you can email us at assets.arbitrage@gmail.com and we will send you the information on how to get Zay's book. One of the many reasons we are also really, really pushing for you guys to get his book is because he has a whole chapter on how to earn Bitcoin without having to purchase it. A lot of the suggestions in the book are family oriented, meaning that if you have young ones at home, they can also get involved, which is what Bitcoin's all about, right? The halving party. So Stacy Herbert is sponsoring a halving party in El Salvador.
Yeah.
Wish I could be there. Baby, go put your, okay, mommy's gonna, because we gotta start the show, okay? All right, so go ahead, go play.
You can run around.
Yeah. She's having a halving party in El Salvador, big resort. The halving party's been sold out. So we do want to kind of support that in spirit for those of us who are able to. I believe the halving party is Friday, April 5th.
April 5th, yeah.
And we're in Mexico, so we're going to try to maybe do something this weekend ourselves. I'm off on Thursday and Friday. So I'm hoping that maybe we as a family can have our own little halving party. And we can go on and support what Bitcoin is to do.
Yeah, it is.
We're always doing mindset shifts, great mindset shifts. And forgive me, Mr. Twitter, there was a gentleman on Twitter who posted it, and I meant to write his name down, and when I went to write his name down, by then my feed had refreshed. But he had a great saying, and he said, don't look at it as buying at the top, just look at it as buying at a future dip concerning Bitcoin. And I think that's a great way to look at it because Bitcoin has no top. We can't fault people for buying at the top if it's really just a future dip.
Yeah, the top is going to be whatever, 70, what, 2,
3.
Well, so we're right there.
But that top is going to be a future dip.
Yeah, because if you've been here long enough, there was a top that was, 6,500, And then you're like, oh, y'all reference. And then the top was 10,000. Remember, you guys remember we couldn't beat 10,000.
Yeah.
We couldn't break through 10,000 forever. And you're like, then you brought it at 10,000 and the bang, went back down. We've been through these cycles, man. And, the real Bitcoiners, we've been through the cycles. We know what it's like. So,
shout out to Bitcoin Chris and Bitcoin Shango.
Bitcoin Chris, the homie.
I can't remember which one of you
Bitcoin
guys
Shango.
posted it. Might have been Bitcoin Shango, who's probably going to be joining us shortly, had posted every single price point of Bitcoin for Easter every year, I think, since like 2012 or 2013.
That was incredible.
So shout out to them because we have come a long way, baby. Let me tell you.
It's been a long journey, and we still got a long way to go. So, that's how it is.
Certain things don't concern me.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
I want to shout out T. Will Line Man for Hire, always asking you guys and encouraging you guys to smash those likes. We appreciate all of the encouragement you guys give us as a family, as our content cousins, as our supporters, as our audience. We really, really appreciate you guys so much. We got about 22 people in the room. I think that's a great round number. I also want to shout out our longest supporter, I will remember you rocking in the rocking chair as a little old biddy, Let Freedom Ring. You have been with us the longest.
Yeah, you've been very long.
And we really appreciate your solid support. We really
Yes,
appreciate
indeed.
you.
Yeah.
All right, baby, let's hit them with it.
All right, let's go in. So we're going to go in today. We're going to go over a book review. Yeah, it's a book that we read and we think it's a very helpful book. And we're just going to hit some highlights of the book and circle it back around to life and Bitcoin, right?
Life and Bitcoin.
Life and Bitcoin.
That's all that there is, right? Life and Bitcoin. That's it.
It's called it is a book. It's by the author Robert Greene. You guys are familiar with him. We did a show on him about his most notable book is the 48 Laws of Power.
Yes.
So we did a show about that. We went over 48 Laws of Power. So this is another book that came out in 2018, I believe. It is called The Laws of Human Nature. The Laws of Human Nature. So we're going to go over some of the laws of human nature and how they act on us and the way we think as far as investing in generational wealth building. So I'll give you a brief summary of this and then we'll get on to it. So The Laws of Human Nature, by Robert Greene, is a guide to understanding human behavior and using this knowledgeable tool to improve the relationships between career and personal growth. And so let's get into it.
So it's very important that you guys find a way to add personal development to your repertoire.
Yes.
If you could just read at least one productivity book per month, you'll see how your life will really change, your perceptions of things. This was a great book that Simon had found. We've been listening to his lectures during the day while we work.
Yeah.
Robert Greene,
Yes.
he specializes in a sense, like human psychology, almost anthropological, right? So the study of humans and how they think, how they operate, how they behave. And these insights aren't just for us in the Bitcoin community. It also gives us good insight into those who are not a part of the Bitcoin community.
Yes.
And who we seem to have like
Enmity
a little bit of push
with.
and
Yeah.
enmity, a little angst, a little anguish with. So he's going to kind of go into it now. I want to shout out Mo. Thank you so much for joining the live. We're so happy to have you here.
So let's go number one. So, oh boy, this is so small. We are all prone to irrational behavior.
So irrational behavior.
Irrational behavior.
Okay.
So how does that apply?
Let his hands.
Let his hands. Right? So you get people, they buy whatever, they buy high, sell low, and get upset, with the rest of the Bitcoiners, right? Why you get upset with us? Because you bought at this price and you had irrational behavior and you sold when it dipped and you got scared, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't just, like we told you, ride it out, have low time preference. People in the Bitcoin community who are down and OGs, we know, have low time preference. Ride it out. Don't have irrational behavior. Don't sit there and watch the price all day long and you're like, oh no, it went down 5%. No, stop it. That's not what we're here for, right? Mm-hmm. We're here this is for generational things. And this is also, like you said, what is it? It is real estate and cyberspace. Mm-hmm. It is people are using it.
It's a commodity. It's a high asset class.
People are using it for treasury reserve assets.
Yes.
People are making it legal currency, legal tender in their country. So settle down. But people still make irrational decisions. They get scared. They jump into space news. They don't understand what they're buying. They think they can get a flip here. It drops. They get scared. They sell for a loss. And then we got to hear them complaining all the time. And so irrational behavior. Anything you want to say about irrational behavior?
So irrational behavior is also your non-coiners who have a unreasonable trust in both the United States government and its promissory notes, right? When you're talking to the average people, and a lot of times irrational behavior just comes from sheer ignorance.
Yes.
Right? They're not aware of how things work. They don't understand what to do. They don't take the time and have the patience to sit and study it in order to make the decisions, the rational decisions they need to make in order to progress.
And
But
can I didn't not to mean to cut your wisdom, my beautiful wife, not to cut your wisdom, but we just seen a post not too long ago from the OG Michael Saylor. He says if you haven't studied Bitcoin for at least 100 hours,
don't talk to him.
don't talk to him. They like,
You
don't
will
even
not get an
talk to him.
audience with Michael Saylor.
Right, you know,
If you don't have 100 plus hours.
we understand what Bitcoin is. We are OGs in the game, you know. But you could start early. You know, everybody says get the Bitcoin standard, right, and read it. Read the Bitcoin standard. Understand that. Study it before you start coming in here banging
Read the
on
white
people.
paper.
Well, man, they ain't
Do
gonna
all
read
of
it.
the elementary stuff that needs to be done in order to make the decisions that need to be made. Again, in 2024, it makes me like grind my teeth a little bit when people are asking what is Bitcoin in 2024. There are probably hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of hours now of education on Bitcoin, lectures, podcasts, animations, papers, books, articles, right? There's probably millions of hours at this point in Bitcoin education. So, you know, when we talk about irrationality and the human nature of irrationality, it is likely to stem, its root is typically in sheer ignorance. It's also why you guys are frustrated with the people that you talk to, with the people that you are engaging, with the people that you are coming into contact with who aren't listening to you.
Yeah.
Think they know better. Many of them think they know better. Many of them think like, no, 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 I'm safe with my dollar, because they don't understand A, what fiat currency is versus this high asset class, this commodity. B, they don't understand what type of trouble the US dollar is in because they don't do their homework. They're not doing their global current affairs research. They are a lot of times interested in, I call it bread and circus. So, you know, we're just kind of outlining today
Yeah,
some human nature and maybe how to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, and remember, rationality will be rooted in fears sometimes,
Most
right?
of the time.
So you'll have some fear about what may happen, and so that is one of the laws of human nature.
Two, right? Let's be honest. For those who are ignorant about Bitcoin, the propaganda in the United States is horrible for it, right? So if you didn't know what it was, the little bit that you have been getting via osmosis, right? The one that you just kind of been absorbing is typically bad information, a
Yeah.
negative spotlight on Bitcoin, the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt that goes with it due to its volatility. I tell you guys all the time, right? When you go on Google and it's red, that is to elicit a fear in you. There's a lack there. There's some scarcity happening. And when you actually look at the reality of Bitcoin, we showed you, do the year chart, do 5-year chart, do the max chart, you can see how much abundance is absolutely there and
Yeah.
present and what the actual reality is. And a lot of people don't take time to do that. So not only is irrationality rooted in fear, right? Irrationality is also rooted in a high time preference. These people are typically not patient, they're impatient, they're impetuous, they are defensive, they are,
Oh yeah, we'll get on that.
and they're really defensive about what they know versus what they don't know. No one ever wants to appear ignorant or silly or stupid or like, you know, they don't know something. So even in their uncertainty, instead of just being honest and humble and, you know, please let me sit down and listen to what you have to say about this, or let me take the time to research this thing before I form an opinion on it. We now live in a nation where people have platforms where they can form opinions about things they know absolutely nothing about. Apparently, it's some new God-given right that came along with social media, and that's what we have. I just want to
Oh,
read.
yeah, go ahead. I forget to the second.
Mo said, I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. I'm holding it for my kids and grandkids. Mo, that's exactly what we're doing, right? And not even our kids, they'll be fine while we're here, but our grandchildren, we want them to, they'll be living in a world where they have Bitcoin. They will absolutely have access to a lot of it. But, you know, I always quote the Jay-Z line, like Simon and I, we got mouths to feed till they put flowers on me. and so it's our responsibility to kind of get these things going.
Jeez.
MO, every crypto I buy, I read the white paper, which takes patience.
Thank you.
Research.
Thank you for doing that, because that is what needs to be done.
Yes.
Thank
A
you.
lot of people like to watch podcasts and they listen to very intelligent people say very intelligent things. And what do they like to do? They like to repeat and regurgitate those very intelligent things spoken by those very intelligent people. And once you sit down and you have a conversation with them, you can very clearly, visibly, and easily see that they do not have an understanding and that points are being regurgitated. They are emulating. Well, and it's a good start, right? It's better than nothing.
Yeah, and shout out to Bitcoin Chris, because I seen that tweet you posted. Was it yesterday?
It was either yesterday or the day before.
About new people in the space.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear from new people.
Yeah, I want to hear from new people in the space.
Right.
I feel you on that.
I feel like it was in context to the Michael Saylor post about the 100 hours.
I feel you.
Because I saw Michael Saylor's post a little bit after that, so I
Yeah.
said maybe Bitcoin Chris came across that and had the same thought, like, yeah, if you a newbie, don't talk to me.
You don't even talk to me.
Come and talk to me. Can you guys look at the research on how long it takes for generational wealth to be drained? They actually had a stat on that.
Wow.
It's lost in one generation,
It's
isn't
lost in one generation.
it? It
which
takes
is-
3 to actually, now they never give you a number, but they say it takes 3 to actually establish and
They
typically.
say generally, like
Yeah.
across, like we're not talking about high level people who keep moving across like the Fords and
Yeah.
JP Morgan Chase.
Because they've had multiple generations to do
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
I do have a little
Just
anecdotal.
normal people, like if your generational wealth was you left your children a house and life insurance policy. Over one generation, it will be lost. Is what the study said. It's for us, what would you call us, middle class people, upper middle class, stuff like that. It's lost in one generation, which is quite unfortunate. So you have to do general. Help me,
Trying to
please.
say generational?
Generational wealth planning. He's got me confused. Generational planning with your family.
Legacy planning.
Legacy planning, so they know what to do. You know, if you leave them a house and a life insurance policy, which is basically, kind of what you see. You got to tell them what to do. You know, if you leave them 50,000 is not a lot, but you can do something with 50,000 if you know what you're doing. But if you don't, 50,000 gonna go away real quick. And then so with your family left for you and worked their whole life for is gone that quick. You go buy a car and waste it on something, it's gone, right? You will see if you guys go back into the crates, you'll see Master P. His uncle left him 50,000, right?
I thought it was 100,000.
Okay, and somewhere in that range, and he started No Limit Records, and then boom, look what he built from what his uncle left him. But that doesn't happen all the time.
No.
That's it. He's like he's a way out.
And he got left, it didn't get left to see murder. Like, I don't know what the story is, but it got
I don't know
left.
that story.
He probably knew that you were the responsible one, and he was right.
Well, he was older, yeah, but
He was right.
he was right. He was right. He knew what he was doing.
Well, 50K isn't generational wealth today. At one point, it was. I'm gonna tell you guys a little anecdotal story, and I saw this in one of the historic pages on Facebook about my girlfriend. When I tell the story, you'll know who I'm talking about.
Okay, who's that?
So in 1951, this is a girlfriend I worked with at the hospital I used to work at Cincinnati with. Her grandfather in 1951 and his wife opened up, I think it was like a heating company. It was a very small company, kind of mom and pops. And they were able to kind of scale up, not much, but enough for the 50s. And their son took it over, which is my girlfriend's father. And he turned it into this massive HVAC corporation that spans over, I think, 3 states now. And his sons are now involved in it. Obviously, when he passes away, God forbid, they will take over, and they have sons. So right now, we're already on the 3rd generation for them. The company does so well that because she doesn't work for the company, she does get an annuity as one of the daughters. It's a fairly large family too. I think there were 5 children. So she gets an annuity, and every year the annuity is about enough for her to pay off her home, whatever that would have been back then, moving forward. And she always gets the annuity, almost like a payout.
Yeah.
And she does not have to work there one day, right? So this is the legacy planning. This is the generational wealth we're talking about. And again, their sons, generation number 4, have 3 states of companies, HVAC companies to run, and hopefully they will continue to scale it up and so on and so forth. And that's just a regular hometown American family from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah. And so, that doesn't happen often, but we're glad to see that it is happening there.
Hi, cousin Rue.
What's up, Rue? What's up?
And I'm glad you put your podcast there. That's a good idea. Like, make sure you do it so that when I run through support your content cousins, I have everything up front for you guys. Hold on. I just want to.
Oh, you can take your time.
Mo said there's a book called ISO for Dummies. It's a really good book. I know. I think people don't like. There's something about the title "Such and Such for Dummies." But those are some of the best, most well-written, concise, easily understandable books that they make. Don't be afraid if you see that big yellow book that says whatever subject for dummies, that's the book to kind of go to get your feet wet. It does it in no matter how technical it is, it's clear, concise, and easily understandable in layman terms. And you really, really, really can get some good breadth and depth from those books. So Mo, you're absolutely right about that. T-Will Line Man for Hire said that's why I asked, because most people can't do it no matter how hard they try. 50,000 isn't generational wealth, but I'm gonna tell you what the breakdown is, T-Will Line Man for Hire. The problem is, especially in our community, is the education isn't there. No one sits down with these children. The nation builders are absent. Emotionally, physically, intellectually, they are really just reacting to life, right? I'm not even going to get in on the whole single family situation because that's already a heightened level of just surviving. You're not thriving. But the money gets lost, squandered, misappropriated, whatever terms you want to use, because the education isn't there. When you look at legacy families, and you guys can see this from just watching a little bit of, reality television. They are taught since toddlers where to go, what to do, who to eat. This is who your resources are. These are what your resources are. You always have options. They talk to their children. I don't care if they're great parents or not, but your Donald Trumps, et cetera, they always let their children know that the world is your oyster. You have the options. This is how we manage money. This is how you protect it. This is how you make a bag. This is who you go to when you need help. You want to do a business deal or you want to get in on something? Let me introduce you to such and such, right? They got the good old boy network. We don't do that. We do not sit down and teach. We do. Simon family does. Let me make that clear.
Yeah.
But we as a community, we don't sit down with our children and say, let me teach you how to budget a household. Let me teach you how to budget a little bit of money so that you have enough money to do what you need to do. Let me show you what wealth looks like. Let me show you how not to squander wealth. Let me show you how to protect your wealth. This is what you're going to do with what the nest egg that we've created for you. We don't have those conversations in the Black community.
Yeah, and I didn't see who said what about $50,000 being.
That was T-Will Line Man for Hire.
Yeah, if you zoom out, like we say in Bitcoin, and you look at the whole world, $50,000 puts you in that top 75th percentile at least, right? So $50,000, if that's your wealth around the world, you are a wealthy person.
Right.
You are upper middle class, if not
You're
wealthy.
upper poor.
Yeah.
According to new statistics, we're upper poor.
So take your 75,000 and go to Panama City, Panama, and then now all of a sudden you get treated differently.
$75,000 in the Midwest, right? Yeah, 75,000 isn't going anywhere in New York City, Manhattan.
Well, no, what I'm saying, but it's static though. It's not 50,000 a year. It's static. It's what you got.
You're saying it's the 50, but I'm saying even
static.
with that, if you went to Ohio, if you went to Iowa, if you went to you can do something with that. Now, I do want to change your perspective just a little bit, T-Will man for hire, because I do get where you're going.
With the
Right?
Columbia,
The
you'd be up
one-time
there.
payment, 50,000, doesn't seem like much. But did you know that the average American doesn't have 200 US dollars liquid? Liquid. If a $200 emergency came up,
I think it's 400.
they changed it to 400?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 400. I'm sorry if I misquoted.
So half, it's a.
But really, your average American don't have
It's
$200.
really like
Really?
50%.
And they're
of
saying
that.
liquid.
Yeah, but emergency come up.
You don't have
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, even if we see all the time, how many of you guys go down your social media timeline and see a GoFundMe for a funeral?
That's ain't ready.
Right?
Right.
Now, a cremation is $1,000 or less. Most people who are responsible do have prepaid planning services, right? So that's a whole story right there. But when we talk about liquid, do they even have the $200 liquid? There's an emergency. Do you have, some people say, yes, we have it, but you can tell the people who have it, you can just glance at the way they live and say, I expect you to have it. And then you can look at the average American, when you look at homelessness, when you look at the crushing school debt that Black women have incurred. I have someone very close to me. She's a chiropractor. She has a very successful practice. She owes over $1 million in school loans, right? Craziness. Thank you, but no.
You'd rather not be a doctor.
Right, thank you. But she's got a great, successful practice, so she doesn't feel the crushing debt from it. However, how much more successful would your practice be if you did, if it got forgiven or something spectacular happened and they took it off your, she's a doctor. But you guys understand what I'm saying. When you don't even have 200, 400, forget the 400. Do you have liquid $1,000? If something was to go down today, do you have $1,000 liquid that you can just reach out and grab and take care of whatever you need to take care of? And these are the concerning questions that many people, they can't answer it. They're too embarrassed to answer.
And this is why we say Bitcoin has many uses. If you could use Bitcoin as a savings account, if you had $1,000 and it goes up, boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, you got 1,600 in there, right? Instead of just having $1,000. Now you got extra money. You could use it as a saving account.
Right.
Some people will sell their Bitcoin. Some people are diamond hands and say they will never sell. I
We
get
won't.
it. It depends on
your situation.
So, but nobody's tripping on that because you take profits. If you made profits and you need to use the money, then use the money.
And T. Will Lyman for hire, you're right. We just did a show where we talked about $100,000 in salary isn't what it is in these different places. And this is why we talk to you guys about flag theory. So T. Will Lyman for hire. I don't know how long you've been watching our show, but I'm talking to you, cousin, right now, right? And all the other cousins, y'all just sit and listen. But T. Will and I, we're going to have a little cipher real quick, right? We are a family of 6. One thing I say about my husband that I absolutely adored about him is he never restricted my ability to have children. When we met, I think he thought I was joking, but I did tell him I want to have 10 kids. I think he thought I was joking, but he never stopped me from having a whole bunch of children, even when he felt stressed about it, right? I wanted a big family. He loves his big family, but I had always wanted to be a nation builder. That was very important to me. Now, as we were coming along, he's like, yo, I have a dream, I have a vision, and we have all of these children we're responsible for, but it's going to require us to shift, meaning we can't do this in Florida. Aaron, we are in a position where we're beginning to walk into the revenue that we command, experience-wise, age-wise, whatever else-wise, right?
Yeah, I was out the game.
And he's like, and in order to really maximize and optimize this, we got to shift gears a little bit. We can't do it here in Florida. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, babe.
And Florida's, I'm not going to bang on Florida because I know some of you people might live there, but we just wanted to go to a place that was quieter, more tranquil.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But we're also talking about cost of living, right? Because Florida has a huge population of boomers, They are taking a significant amount of the wealth back. That's one. Your second large population are New Yorkers, who typically make a significant amount of revenue and salary, right?
If not salary in retirement.
Or in retirement. That's why I said the boomers, one, and the New Yorkers, two. New
But they're the
Yorkers,
same thing, the New York boomers.
but there's also young New Yorkers. You
Well,
remember in Orlando?
They ain't making no money.
But what I'm saying is New Yorkers are used to paying a lot of money for stuff. So when they up the price in that market, New Yorkers don't notice it. That's my point. Not like somebody from Pensacola going to come to Orlando and be like, yeah, is this a little pricier? Anyway, T. Will lineman for hire. In that vision, his idea is we have all these kids, we got mouths to feed, so they put flowers on me, right? Jay-Z wasn't lying about that. We kiss my cold cheeks, right? They are going to require us to do something different than our grandparents did, than our parents did. We want to give them that leg up. We want to start that generational legacy planning for them. I want to aggressively, here's the aggression, the ambition, and my husband, invest 80% of whatever we're bringing in and live off of 20 and not be uncomfortable. Well, I had always lived in the United States. We did Costa Rica, but that's another story for another day. And it sounded impossible. It sounded utterly impossible. And that's your favorite. So, it took that courage, that courageousness. It took that vision. It took that execution. Like, we're going to try it. If that's what you want to do, we as a family, we're going to ride together and we're going to do it. And believe it or not, we were able to pull it off. We had no idea. We didn't start in this big, beautiful house. We surely didn't. Let me make that clear. We had to sell all of our belongings. I just want y'all to have a perspective on what that was. I'm going into all of that.
No, because I got to get through these.
Okay. But real quick, because we ciphering, right? We're having a cipher. We had to sell all of our belongings. You are changing your culture dynamic. You are separating everybody from their friends, their family, or whatever, and we're not sad to say goodbye to them, because in at the time, 2017, 2016, we still had Messenger and stuff. You can do the FaceTime. Everybody got an iPhone, iPad, iMac. No big deal. But the discipline, the commitment, and the choices and trade-offs we made in order to get that plan, and we're better off for it all these years later. All of our children have at least 2 investments in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so, and also, I mean, we're talking mostly about Bitcoin today,
but I'm just saying, taking the money that you have and making it what it is somewhere else, if we can't do it in the U.S.
We always like to talk about silver. Just buy 1 ounce a week, about $23, $24 maybe. Buy 1 ounce a week. Something you would have went out and ate at a meal, happy hour, something like that, at the Cheesecake Factory, maybe. And so buy 1 ounce a week.
Yeah. But hold on a second, because T. Will, he said he's broke. Oh, cousin, I wasn't making it about you. I was just talking to you because I thought the point you brought up was excellent.
I'm broke, baby.
When you get a chance, right, I'm your cousin, we're your family, your cousins are here to help. Just reach out, email us, so we can have a FaceTime conversation and maybe help get you in order to where you don't have to say you're broke anymore, right? If we just take a look at a few things, we might be able to reset, reshift your mindset, reshift some of your behavior, and you might see that you can start to kind of catch your breath and get to where we're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice. We're not going to charge you anything. We're not selling anything, but we are your family. Reach out to us so that we can try to help you if that is something that you feel like you would benefit from.
Yeah, and like friend of the show, Andy Shackman say, gold and silver, that is wealth. So if you just order 1 ounce of silver, you got wealth right there. And you do it next week and the week after, and chopping wood. And over time, you'll say, oh man, I got a nice little coffer of silver. And that'll be your wealth. You won't be broke. You won't be broke. Just keep chopping wood. Chop wood with it.
And one of Simon's favorite things about silver, especially physical silver, it's so tedious to have to box up and mail out in order to, they got to appraise it, then tell you how much they can give you for it. Then you have to agree if you want to take that. It's such a process that you're not going to squander your silver for something that isn't uber important. But T will reach out to us, right? We're your cousins. I don't even like the idea that you're broke. We can help get you in order. We're not going to charge you a dime. We're not selling you anything. But just let me know when we can talk. Mo said basically what they saying is stop buying Jordans and teeth, like veneers or gold teeth, and then go catch the bus. No, Mo, we're not saying that. We're saying that you have choices and trade-offs in life in order to get the outcome that you want.
Yes, indeed.
And you have to be serious about those choices and trade-offs to get the serious outcome. So for any of you watching this, y'all are all family. Reach out to me, access.arbitrage@gmail.com. Simon and I will get on FaceTime so you can see the iris of my eye and know that the things that we're telling you is real. Right? We got married. I met him when I was 19, y'all. We got married. I was 21 years old when we got married. We know what it is to be broke. We know what it is to kind of struggle a little bit to get your family together. It's just that, thank goodness, the chemistry between us is so strong and beautiful that I was able to trust him from the beginning when he comes up with these crazy ass ideas like Bitcoin. Y'all should have met Aaron in 2013 when he was trying to explain to her what Bitcoin was and why a whole bunch of our money is going into it.
You should have met her in 2000, fresh out of New York, fresh out of Queens. Queens in the house.
But so we know what it is to be broke. We know what it is to try to pull something together now. I can't say that because we came from comfortable lifestyles, right? I didn't grow up in Left Rack City. I grew up on Long Island. My mother and father did well. I was born in Left Rack.
Left Rack City? That's where Nori was
But
born.
we didn't grow up in Left Rack. I grew up on Long Island. I was 3 years old. I told you guys this story. We moved to Long Island. So I did grow up comfortably. But my father, being a boomer generation, didn't have that vision moving forward. Now, he did leave us something significant that Simon took, flipped. Bitcoin was 8,000 when Dad passed away.
7,600.
And he put all of it into it. But not for us to go flossing and out here flexing on every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's for our grandchildren who don't exist yet. None of my children have children yet, although I am trying to get Sean to hurry the hell up.
Bring him down here.
I know, bring him down here and shame him in front of 50 people. But we know what it's like to be, we know what it's like to struggle. We know what it's like to need diapers and baby clothes and, school uniforms and you're living paycheck to paycheck. We know what that's like. So I don't want you guys to see us here in this big, beautiful house in Mexico and think like what they got, what they need, they don't know. We know what it's like. We do know what it's like.
Yes, indeed. Let me get on.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, what's up?
Thank you so much for joining us, sweetheart.
So let me get on to this point too. This is gonna be a tough one. All right, so we are all narcissistic to some degree, and we should judge character by actions and not by appearances.
So we are all narcissistic to some degree, everybody, right? To some degree, and we should be judging by actions and not appearances.
And not appearances, especially in this space. So
Especially in this
space.
Especially in this space. But we often talk about how the appearance, how you're programmed in the United States, especially, right? Because the program in the United States is not seen in anywhere else in the world, honestly. Maybe in the UK.
Yeah, well, Western world. Canada, UK,
yeah,
I believe,
but not even in Mexico.
Maine, Australia, and stuff like that. But
Mo said y'all did very well, but Mo, you don't know about the choices and trade-offs. That's the point that I'm making. Mm-hmm. The conveniences that people take for granted every day, we don't even have access to.
Yeah, we live out in the middle of nowhere, but it's nice. It's like you just look out and you see the land and. See the animals,
land,
like
animals, horse poop, cow poop. But two, when my husband and I get on page together, sometimes it requires a discipline that a lot of women would be like, nope, you figure something else out, make it happen a different way, but I'm not going to give this up. I'm willing to give up a lot of things in order for my grandchildren to have access to a significant amount of Bitcoin in a world where access is going to be very difficult. So, for us did very well, the work that's involved. You guys hear our conversations. We don't tell y'all nothing we don't actually do as a practice. I do 12-week quarters every single quarters, right? Thank you, baby. Hubby and I, we have a coffee date every morning because it's hard for us to be alone. As you can see, that is our third Siamese twin. And during our coffee dates, we have a business meeting. Right? What are we looking at this quarter? What do we need to set up? What do we need to take care of? Da, 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 da. Our pillow talk is, this is what we need for the podcast. This is what we need for this. This is what we need for that. And we move in a way that a lot of people are like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
We have a lot of goals. We have a lot of objectives. We have a lot of things that we want for our grandchildren. Again, people who don't exist. And the choices and trade-offs that come with it require us to practice on a daily basis delayed gratification. You guys see me on here. I look nice. I get the jewelry I like. He gets the shoes he likes, the hats he likes. Where's Big Watch Dude? He's got every Invicta you can think of.
I'm still trying to get some new LeBrons, y'all. So help me out.
But little things, right? I do my own hair because I know that hair is about $1,000 to $1,500 every 2 weeks. I do my own nails because in the United States, that's $100 to $150 every 2 weeks. Little trade-offs. The only real metal I buy is precious metals. I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of money in gold earrings, gold necklace, gold bracelets and stuff like that. When I need to energize, I hit the stash, handle it, play with the children with it. There's a lot of different things moves and stuff that we make that other people wouldn't be willing to. I cook a Thanksgiving-sized meal 5 to 6 times a week. We're a family of 6. We don't eat out that often.
Yeah, but
that saves money.
So, and
Our Bitcoin Shango. Oh, he said timepiece. Don't call it a watch.
Yeah,
don't
so
be disrespectful.
I'm trying to dig into this. So we are.
But you didn't do the narcissistic piece.
That's what I'm digging into, the narcissistic. So we are all narcissistic to some degree.
And we need to judge by appearance. We need to judge by actions and not appearance.
Character by actions, by not appearances. And so I think in this, he's talking about social media. This is what I gleaned from it. People want to be seen, you feel good. You put a picture out there, boom. I ain't talking about no OnlyFans picture. I'm just saying you put a picture out there of yourself.
You have OnlyFans?
No, I'm saying I'm trying really pictures. You just take a selfie and you if you get some likes, boom, boom, it makes you feel better.
I would sign up for your OnlyFans. I'll be your OnlyFans.
And so people feel better. And so there's a bit of narcissism in that. And then
But the people faking the pictures, y'all see when the Twitter
real pictures. I'm talking about real pictures, real people.
Oh.
You could post you had a barbecue this weekend. Or
the real stuff.
The real stuff.
But the Twitter girls, they use their fingers to look like legs, like they sitting on the beach, and it's really like a background, like people.
I ain't talking about that.
They do the most with the appearance.
No, I'm talking about normal people. Normal people.
Okay.
You feel good.
We're going to church.
Somebody come in the comments and say, "Oh, you look beautiful, girl." Or,
beautiful family.
Something like that. It makes
gorgeous
you feel
couple.
Good. So that builds up a little bit of narcissism in you.
Yes,
we're not talking about the narcissistic people
to the fullest,
and what they call the dark triad, and we might talk about that one day. The dark triad, but not that narcissistic. But we're not talking about Ted Bundy level, but we are talking about people who just, hey, it's nice to see. I took a picture with me and my baby. It's my little baby. You like to see. I got 50 likes. You feel good,
mm-hmm.
right? And so it gets into that, but people, like she said, we got to do it on not on appearances, but on actions. What are the actions of the people? So,
but even Bitcoiners, right? Because like I said, the MLMers love to hop into. They love sliding on my DM and talk to me about Bitcoin. And their actions is a demonstration of their speech, the things that they say. Let me know that you have no idea what Bitcoin really is, do you? What are you selling?
And I don't mind. I call them Johnny Come Latelys.
Yes.
I don't mind people who are new to Bitcoin
I don't.
and trying to learn,
Learn.
but I don't like the people who just pop in on Bitcoin and act like they've been here since the game started. You know, and like they OGs in it and they just got here. Those are the people who get on our nerves, right? Right? So, yeah, you got to deal with them.
Or the people who spread the misinformation,
Yeah.
your FTXers, right, who make the space look bad,
Drug
right?
pullers.
No one could have known that FTX would have collapsed the way it collapsed, except the people inside. I can't remember the little geeky girl name, but it was only the people inside. You're seeing commercials, whole stadiums are being sponsored by FTX.
Take it down.
When they do when they were doing their podcasts and their advertisements, right, to learn more investors and stuff, no one could have known that it would have imploded the way it imploded. And this is what we're talking about, the demonstration or the actions versus the appearance of it. Now, I'm sure that there were a lot of red flags along the way if you would have gotten involved. Typically, whenever I see that a company is reaching out to celebrities, that's red flag number one. Because real Bitcoiners are really not feeling a celebrity coming in talking about, yeah, buy this. And you know that they don't have no idea what it is. Or that they don't talk about it at all after that. You don't hear it anywhere in their speech. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
They say.
Right? So those are typically red flags to me. Again, you want to get to the point where your sats are stacked, your precious, whatever your wealth is stacked so well that you can be extremely selective in what you are choosing to invest in, what you are choosing to put your money in, what you're willing to put your reputation in. Right? If you're sponsoring somebody, if you're supporting a content cousin who has something, you really want to vet it and look into it so that you don't get your reputation dragged into their rug pull,
so that's why I say, as a Bitcoiner, no rug pull, no counterparty risk, right?
Right.
No counterparty risk. We don't have to deal with that. Read some of these. I got to get into number 3 because we
So
gonna be here.
Bitcoin Shango is in the house under his Clark Kent alias. He said he tried for years to get away from his own narcissistic tendencies. It was because he was young in mind and body and thought the world revolved around him. After he became a father, he wanted to focus on the children.
Yep.
He says, I don't want to be a social vampire. That's what the MSM calls it now. He says, Simon, make sure you sign over that third paycheck to your wife by midnight tonight. Thank you, Bitcoin Shango. He says, smash them likes. Y'all don't worry if that ain't read in there. Mo said, I haven't had an Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook for over 10 years. Bitcoin Shango said, those dang FUD flingers. I like that. Mike, I can't say it, Novogratz, or whoever the Luna tattoo guy needs to hush up about any and all things Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, that guy, Novogratz.
I do want to tell y'all though, for those of you who are on Twitter, you definitely want to follow Bitcoin Shango. Bitcoin Shango and Bitcoin Chris have really great tweets, and a lot of times they help kind of keep us on the current events of the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I am going to ask the cousins I follow Bitcoin Shango. I read all of your tweets.
Yeah, I got to check y'all out.
I try to heart as many of them as possible.
That's why I see what you be saying.
But yeah, Shango and Bitcoin Chris, like if you're trying to keep on top of stuff, and obviously Zay, you definitely want to follow them on Twitter.
Yeah, man, and because we always, especially Bitcoin Chris, because we did a show, Bitcoin Chris and Bitcoin Shango. You guys can cam up, man, whenever you want. We'll send you the link, man. Just cam up.
Shango, I would love
we
for
just
you
do
to
a random. We just do random show and just chop up some good game. So let us know if you are interested in that.
The other thing is, y'all hear me begging y'all to follow us on Twitter. Y'all think I could do these Instagram whole pictures and get a whole bunch of followers? It's not worth it. That's not the outcome that we're looking for.
No, that's not.
So that's why we only have 150 followers.
That's right. So let me get on 3. So let's go to 3. Number three on the laws of human nature. We should strive to be superior character and use covetous behavior to our advantage. So that's a lot of words. That's a lot of fancy words, right? So basically, how can we chop it up and let's make it simple. We should strive to be superior characters, and we should covet our behavior to our advantage. With behavior, it also means access, or access to our advantage, right? You need to act like everybody can't have access to you,
No.
right? You know, these are people, like, you're trying to talk to people about certain things, and I'm just talking about in the investment space, but we could flesh it out, talk about just real life. Everybody shouldn't have access to you, right? You got to work, you got to do stuff, you build something. People don't really believe in it, so hey, don't be ringing my phone up, don't text me, don't do that. Y'all all can't have access to me
Right.
in that regard, and not saying isolate yourself, but have a level of isolation where people can't just reach you. Don't just come. You can't just come knock on my door, right? Nobody can just come knock on my door and say, "Hey, what you doing?" Or come. People can't just So speak on that, because you're out here more in the corporate world where you have to speak to people, and people can't just have access to you.
Well,
saying,
one, you have to set boundaries.
yeah.
I know you guys are familiar with the term billable hours,
That's right.
but the concept actually comes from gatekeeping who is worth your time and who isn't. So I'm going to say that again. The concept of billable hours is designed to be a gatekeeper on who is worth your time and who isn't. If they're willing to pay, that means they're willing to pay attention. They're not going to waste your time. They're not going to waste your mentoring. They're not going to waste your knowledge. They're not going to waste your advice. That's why you notice that professionals often bill billable hours. Attorneys, accountants, what are some doctors, other, people within the space who often give out advice, expertise, etc. If you, and Shango, it sounds like you've been doing this for a while. Let Freedom Ring, I know you've been doing this for a while. Black Rue, you've been doing this. If you've been talking to people, if you've been orange pilling people till you were blue in the face or orange in the face, and they're not listening to you, when that number goes up, they can't reach you after that. Now, if you have a heart of gold, maybe now that Bitcoin's 150,000, you want to have the conversation? Well, do you remember when I was talking to you about it at 16,000? Do you remember those conversations? Right? You don't want people to waste your time, period. Not even a minute of it, not 60 seconds. Time, since we're investors in this space, time is our most precious commodity. It is more precious than 10,000 Bitcoins. It's more precious than 210 million Bitcoin, and there's only 21 million.
So that's a bad.
Your time is, I'm just saying, if Bitcoin double this, it's your time, your 60 seconds is more precious than that, right? So you don't want to write that check for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. If you wouldn't just hand out money, you don't want to just hand out your time either. Right? Consider your time like a check. Who are you giving it to? Does that person deserve to deposit your time? A lot of times they don't. Two, when you guys are on social media, I don't know what y'all get down is, but don't let every little conversation / narrative / scenario / discussion trigger or elicit a response of anger from you. Right? Take it with a grain of salt. You don't want that energy, that chakra, that red chakra to light up because you saw something, read something, heard something on social media. That may not be worth your time, and it certainly may not be worth your comment, right? Because they're doing it for that purpose, on purpose. Mm-hmm. And these are some of the things that we want to kind of take into context. Simon and I, we often tell you guys, if you need anything, where your cousins were here for you, I don't give that invitation to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I know y'all are serious. I know you guys are trying to make changes. I know you guys are wanting better for your families. We will take all the time in the world for you. But the average Joe coming up, if they're just like, well, what is Bitcoin then? Yeah. I'm not gonna have a conversation with you. No. If you come to me in all sincerity and say, hey, Erin, I know you and Simon have a podcast. I'm noticing that Bitcoin is trending in social media, and I was just wondering if you could just take the time to really explain it to me so I can figure out what it is. Simon and I are going to take the time to sit down and chit chat with you. But most of the time, it's typically the former, which is, then what is it?
But
If it's so great, then how come? And then you get all of the FUD uncertainty.
yeah, I'm not gonna do the fun with you, but the person who actually wants to sit down, I'm still gonna throw some books at you. And you're gonna have to go read. You know,
You
you're gonna
got
have
to
to
put the
read.
time. You can't make the
You gotta
time
read.
up.
You know, Bitcoin Black America.
We
you know,
all
shout
had
out
to do it.
Yeah, we read these books. Told you Bitcoin Standard. I got a few other books that I can toss at people like, read. You got to learn.
And a lot of times, if you don't pay with money, you're gonna pay with your time.
Yeah, you got to learn. You got to read. I know people don't like to read anymore. Hell, these are audiobooks. You get these on audiobooks and just listen to them while you're doing whatever you're doing, cooking, working out, whatever, just sitting on the couch.
And you can replay a podcast, you can rewind it, you can scrub through it. A lot of people's podcasts have the great time markers.
Yeah, they do.
So if there's certain points that you needed to kind of reiterate or get reiterated for you, you can do that. I want to shout out BK Crypto. Boom. Guess who stepped in the room? To Cal. Coming from the shower now. Nerd Up Inc. Thank you so much for joining us. Cousin Jake is on. He said they can't read, bro. Oh, you still got his voice back, so you can't teach him no more, Cousin Jake.
It's still shaky.
He said they're gonna be playing dodgeball with them books you throw.
Yes, that's what I say. People don't read, man. And unfortunately, reading it was fundamental. That's what they told
Reading
us.
is fundamental.
Now it's a wrap. But you got to read these books. And I got free books, free PDFs that you can read.
Mm-hmm.
They're not long. They're not hard. Well, that one was.
I mean, but
that's
if
a
you,
tough read. It's 100 pages. That's a tough read.
Then you do it like you did in elementary school. You underline a term you don't understand, you look it up.
That was a tough read.
Bitcoin Shango has found the nearest telephone booth. He is now in his Superman form here in the chat. T-Will Line Man for Hire. He said, laugh out loud. I bought that book years ago, the gold edition. Never seen it. First time ever mentioning it.
What? I don't know.
I think he's talking about the standard, the Bitcoin Standard by Safety and the Moose. Are you talking about Safety and the Moose's book? T-Will Line Man for Hire? What's wrong? Let Freedom Ring said most don't want to educate themselves. We talked about that. You know that people are resistant to educating themselves because your body physically, that electrical synapse is physically creating a groove in your brain. It feels like work. And that's why most people are resistant to learning new things. That's why they're resistant to change, because change requires you to learn something new. And because you have it is a physical transformation of your brain that takes place. That's why they're so resistant to it.
Yeah, I was down. I need that.
T-Will Not Man for Hire said, y'all don't remember the gold edition? I'm 1,000% sure Safety and the Moose had a gold edition.
I don't know about the gold edition.
He said time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. Time flies when you're not.
Because my battery, I need him to go get the battery back anyway. So we're going to go into number 4 of these laws of human nature, if you will. Everyone is prone to being short-sighted and defensive. So what does that mean?
Say it one more time.
Everyone is prone to being short-sighted and defensive.
But the people who are especially short-sighted are defensive, is really what that should say.
Right. So that talks about people in general, and we're just trying to zoom into like investors, Bitcoiners, altcoiners, if you will, if that's what we call it. So you're short-sighted and defensive. So you are a altcoiner, and you want to buy certain altcoins, and when things don't go right for you, then you become defensive of the Bitcoin maxis who said, hey man, just get on the train. I know everybody want 100 bagger from something that could go from 0.0001 to 1 cent, and it's like
to $1.75.
But when, as we say in Spanish, donde.
That's where. When is cuando.
Cuando. See,
Cuando.
there we go. Cuando. When is it going to go there? Why don't you just get on and just make the money?
It's going to go there nunca.
Why don't you just make the money and get on with Bitcoin? People are short-sighted. Short-sighted leads to high preference. They want something right now.
Which leads to defensiveness.
Because people like us in the Bitcoin community, we've been here so long, and they feel like, oh man, y'all made all this money or whatever they think. This thing can happen fast. And then you hear some people looking for, like, I'm looking for the next Bitcoin.
Yes,
And we're
I
like,
hear a lot of that.
we're like, come
And they
on.
want to go all in on this is going to be the next Bitcoin. And I don't think there's going to be another, like we thought at first. I'm not
I
going to say we.
didn't.
I thought Ethereum. I
No.
thought Ethereum was going to be like,
No,
okay,
but
this was
because
like, this might hit.
well, no, I'm not saying that Ethereum won't go up, but it's different than Bitcoin.
I mean, I know
So,
when I
all right,
said
so
I
I
thought
didn't
it was
know.
going to be the next Bitcoin, like I thought Ethereum, if Bitcoin's at 70,000, I thought Ethereum would be at like, 60,000 or something like
No,
that.
no,
I
no,
thought it
no,
was going to
no.
be the next big thing when it
No,
came
no,
out. And then the gas fees hit, and that was like,
no. Gas fees hit a long time ago. That's
they
why.
just refunded the gas fees. Did you see that?
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
don't.
Musk got gas fees refunded. BK Crypto, he said, but change is always happening. I don't know who said it, but I remember, I think I first heard it from my husband. He said the only constant is change.
Yeah, so people fight against change. They want things to stay the same. But the only constant that you find is change. Things will
Give me that
always
book,
change,
baby.
no matter what.
Give me that book.
And so, man, things will always change.
He said, man, people run, I mean, literally run from books. I try to recommend easy books and they get turned off.
Yeah, you
Critwork said it would be cool to meet everyone on a live. It would be. We're trying to get y'all to come on this live and have like a family reunion.
yeah.
We all have the same stories of trying to convince friends and family to no avail. This is BK Crypto. He said, no hablo español. No habla español.
Yo hablo
También.
español mucho.
También.
Mucho.
BK Crypto said they don't respect the grind.
Nah, they don't.
Jay said, no, ain't no second best. I realize that now. There's only one Bitcoin. But I did think when Ethereum first came out, I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
oh,
that.
this might do it.
No, I was telling no, but because it's different, they're different, and so, but it's still
I
counterparty
just
risk.
meant the
Counterparty risk because of him.
I meant the performance wise though. I did think when
If
it
some-
first came out.
If something happened to him, man, Ethereum's
Done.
exactly. You remember what happened when Steve Jobs died? Apple went down. Now it fought back. But the counterparty risk is Steve Jobs was the genius behind Apple, and when he died, it's like, what are we gonna do now? And so I mean, they got that was his name, Tim Cook.
Tim Cook, yeah.
I don't know if he's a genius. I don't know nothing about him.
Critwork said if you're dating a person
Yeah.
and you're trying to teach them about Bitcoin and crypto,
Crit work.
would she be wrong to kick them to the curb because we can't spend what I invested in? Am I wrong? Don't let nobody spend up your Bitcoin, girl. I'm not saying kick him to the curb, but if he doesn't have
You
a,
said kick them to the curb.
she's
Kick who to the
asking.
curb?
She said, if you're dating a person
Okay.
and you're trying to teach them about Bitcoin and crypto, would she be wrong to kick them to the curb because we can't spend what I invested in? Am I wrong? She's basically saying, am I wrong for not sharing profits with you who's not investing with me? And you really don't have a value for Bitcoin, even though I'm trying to teach you
No.
how you can get your own
If
profit.
you're dating somebody, don't give them none of your profits, Bitcoin. You know, it takes a while. You got don't share with them. Not yet. Share information, but don't share profits.
Oh, cousin, practicas con me. Or I
What's
should
that?
say con you. He
Okay.
said he wants to practice with me.
Okay.
Bitcoin Shango said, damn right.
Yeah.
He wanted to kick his ass to the curb.
Yeah,
We
get
went to
what you're
school in Queens to teach some kids about Bitcoin. It was
Uh-oh.
amazing. The kids get it, much like V-Bucks. Yeah, the kids get it. But I think the kids' collective consciousness is born in the technological era, right? Tino knows how to use the phone to get the stuff he wants to get on YouTube. I remember Junior was 13. Simon had an iPad.
He's 13 now.
Yeah, and I said, Junior's 13.
Oh.
You had an iPad. When he was 2 years old, he used to play Roblox, and he used to ask us for Robux at 2, 3 years old. So the kids are born with the collective consciousness of technological advancements. I think they're gonna get it because I think it has been deposited in their collective consciousness.
Yeah, and we talked to her about it.
I'm talking about kids in general,
Yeah.
this generation of children in
They
general.
receive it.
Jay Fever said Apple ain't did beep since Steve Jobs and remade the same stuff that he created, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in Apple when he died, and I was like, oh man.
Let Freedom Ring says Simon is absolutely right. Share the info, but not the profit.
Yeah. You can share the info. If that person's cool. Yeah. Let me get this number 5 off. If you think you wanted to, what does that say? Thanks, guys. Oh, okay.
Because everybody told give him to the girl. Don't give
You
him
want
to
in
the
the
girl.
game? You
Give him one more chance.
Yeah.
Give him one more chance.
Give.
Give him one more chance.
Give him one more chance.
Like
Gotcha.
Biggie. Give him
All
one more
right, I'll feel you
chance.
that. All right, so number 5. We're going number 5. It's simple. Uh, prevent self-sabotage by employing a positive attitude and avoiding repression.
Now I'm going to tell you this: in avoiding self-sabotage, a lot of your self-sabotage is actually negative self-talk, right? Phrases like "I am broke." You are not broke. You're just in a state of brokenness right now. It's very different. It's very temporary things like being sick. Hopefully, you're not in a permanent state of sickness. It's a very temporary thing. So our self-talk, we want to kind of change those things, and that's why we often do a lot of mindset shifts with you guys. How to think about things, because when you think about something different, your self-talk becomes different. Instead of saying I can't afford it, I tell you very often, well, how can we afford that? Like, let's start thinking up of things that we need to, how can we get from A to B?
Yeah.
Even if the journey is all the way to the letter Z, we'll kind of, okay, well, how do we get to B? And then now how do we get to C? And now how do we get to D? And so on and so forth. So a lot of self-sabotage is rooted in negative self-talk. It's rooted in almost negative perception. That's why I said, Bitcoin Shango's on here. Bitcoin Shango, I think it was you or Bitcoin Chris who had posted a gentleman's quote that said, you're not buying for Bitcoin, you're not buying at the top, you're basically buying a future dip. Like, that's a good way to see it. Don't see it as buying it at the top. See it as buying it as a future dip. Might have been Bitcoin Chris. I thought it was Bitcoin Shango. But if you remember who the original tweeter was, I would like to give him some credit. And I wrote that down in my book, but I didn't write his name down. I don't know why. And I've been saying it to myself, like, don't even look at it, because Bitcoin has no top. So you're not buying at the top. You're buying a future dip. It's a great way to change your perspective, and in changing your perspective, you change your behavior. You change how you move. Maybe it was Chris. I only share my Bitcoin with the mother of my children. Any companion that elevates himself above friend status will get advice and info, not a single set. It was Chris. He said that was Chris. Okay. But it was a great tweet. And we were going to buy the Bitcoin anyway. But it's a great tweet for us to share with people who do have that apprehension and continuing to dollar cost average as Bitcoin continues to rise. If you know, you know. Thank you so much for joining us. At Jake Fever, I agree with you, but do they have to innovate if people keep buying and they are sitting on the Mount Everest of cash reserves? I think it's talking about Apple.
Oh yeah, they are.
Like, they don't have to be
Oh, they are
innovative.
sitting on the Mount Everest of cash reserve. Man,
The thing is, too, anything they slap that Apple on, that sticker on, people will stand in line to buy.
yes, it will.
So,
All right, so I'm gonna go over number 6. Some of these we can get through real quick. Number 6 of the laws of human nature. Everyone is prone to the feelings of grandeur, which should be brought down to reality. What does that mean? What does that even mean? So people are in grandeur,
delusions of grandeur?
delusions of grandeur, and they need to be brought down to reality. And so, how does that go, Aaron?
Well, I know that a lot of people are in delusions of grandeur that as a country continues to struggle and get in trouble, that some governmental entity or some political candidate is going to come in like Christ himself and save them. That's a delusion of grandeur, right? You have to be the king of your own domain. You have to set yourself up so that you are in control of your own economic climate. Another delusion of grandeur is that the dollar has been around forever and it'll always be around. That's a delusion of grandeur, right? Monetary policies change every 40 years. Your average person doesn't know that. And they are in the transition of a change right now when we start talking about CBDCs. So and governmental entities and world governmental entities trying to find ways to tighten the reins of control on the masses. Again, a lot of the issues that we're having with the average person is sheer ignorance. They simply do not know. They do not care to know. They don't want to take the time to know. They are going to be defensive because of their ignorance. And this is what sparks these delusions of grandeur. This is how it's always been, so this is how it's going to continue to be. And again, BK Crypto said the only constant is change.
That's all it is.
If you know, you know, yes, they do. Inflation is the reason they can't put that much cash into Bitcoin yet. So without innovation, they can't beat inflation. They're going to be running in place. That was Jake.
Yeah, they will.
Cousin Shango said, yeah, I used to be a Muppet baby using my imagination for most of life situations, thinking something will happen or someone will swoop in and give them a miraculous amount of money. So, yeah, so with delusions of grandeur, those are some of the delusions of grandeur that we are seeing. I know that there's a weird, I don't know if it's a delusion of grandeur, but there's a weird niche of people who celebrate when Bitcoin's down, and I don't know why.
It's like I kind of like I told you so, but you can't tell me.
But
I
the
told you
people who
so.
do that, it's not
Yeah,
even
10X,
like
12X.
a deca millionaire is like, nah, 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 nah. It's not like Peter Schiff is like, I told you so, I told you so. And maybe he does celebrate. I don't know if he does or he doesn't. But the people who I'm seeing celebrating are typical average broke people. So that's why I don't understand it. Basically, you're not doing any better than I am, nanny, nanny, poo, poo.
I don't know. I think it's more altcoiners.
Oh, is it? I don't know who it is. Like, I'll just see them in the space and
Altcoiners like
they're gloating. Like when Bitcoin went back down to that almost 60, they were like, yes. Where's your Bitcoin now? And like all of these weird celebrations. It was weird.
Yeah, they're altcoiners. They
It was
smash.
weird. Like y'all are weird as F. Nah, it's all on me. I have to think ahead of the greedy overlords. I have to presume the worst case scenarios, right? It's all on us to get us up and going. That's Bitcoin Shango.
Oh, okay.
Saying like him, not an outside entity.
Nah, not, no, most definitely, most definitely. Just, um, you know, it's hard to even. These
His
delusions.
cousin Ruth said people were celebrating when Solana was down. But why? But why? I see, baby.
All right, I'm gonna read number 8. I'm trying to get through these before the phone dies. So we tend to number 8. We tend to conform to group mentality and feel a false sense of entitlement. So how does that pop off? So group mentality, right? You know how group mentality works. Everybody knows how group mentality works.
It's the egregor.
Yeah, mob mentality, egregor above you. And no, I ain't playing. But
I know, but the noise filter.
yeah, the mob mentality above you. So what does that say? Going either way, right? So we have a mob mentality above us, the
Which is
egregor that they don't want Bitcoin
They don't want Bitcoin to flourish and
to
thrive.
flourish, and they don't want people who are Bitcoiners to flourish and thrive. There's a mob mentality of those people.
But then Bitcoin has a mob mentality.
Yeah, the coiners.
Right? The Bitcoin, the maxis, the non-coiners have their mob mentality. What was the second string to that?
So they feel a sense of entitlement.
They feel a sense of entitlement.
You can't walk around. I mean, I'm a Bitcoiner. I'm a whole coin. I don't really want to walk around with a T-shirt that says whole coiner, right? I see people do that. I said, well, you want to lay low and stuff like that. I don't know how you feel about that.
You gotta celebrate however you wish.
Yeah, I don't want people running down on me and all that.
But like if you ran a marathon, people wear stuff all the time to let you know this is my 5th marathon. I've run 10 marathons, that kind of thing. Bitcoin's a marathon, and if you made it to a whole coin, you have multiple whole coins. I ain't mad at you for wearing a whole coiner shirt. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of time.
No, I'm laying low on that.
I get that you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay low on it.
Right, I get that. You don't want to be flexing on people, but I ain't mad at it. The echo chamber, the group thing. Bitcoin Shango said he checks people when the Bitcoin maxis get too toxic.
Yeah.
Agreed. Some of them get crazy.
Yeah.
If you know, you know, they better run in place with some Bitcoin. That is referencing a comment where Jake said they're gonna be running in place. Cousin Ruth said, I remember when people were celebrating Bitcoin being down. Isn't it weird? I think it's people trying to prevent normies from getting into crypto. A sportscaster was making fun of Odell Beckham for wanting his salary in Bitcoin. It's Odell Beckham and somebody else.
But he's up big. But he's up big now, right? It's
Something Ogun.
Russell Ogun.
Russell
Ogun,
also.
and but they're up big now. Yeah,
Right.
now he looks like a smart guy.
Right.
You made fun of him because Bitcoin back then I think might have.
But then you don't come
dropped
out and
16.
say something when it go up.
Right. Now he looking good.
Cousin Shango said, I caution people to not advertise how much Bitcoin they have. Simon, he doesn't like that either. All they're doing is painting a target on their back.
Yes, just lay low. If
Yeah.
you talk to people, you want to Bitcoin information and education, but don't put it on your chest. Hold coiners is walking around flexing with your Thor arms if you have them. Some people have Thor arms. Some people do not. So I don't know what the game is out there.
Odell and them are up way big if they hold. I love his Thor arms. Y'all don't get me wrong. I rub on his arms at night and stuff, but he's a mess. Hey, well, it's a family show. We got 4 kids. They know how they got here. But, we really do want to have some perspective on how we think, have some perspective on how the non-pointers think, have some perspective on what, I don't remember who called them overlords. I think it was Shango. How the overlords think, right? Your political candidates and stuff like that, so that you can move accordingly in life. I think anthropology, the study of human behavior, is extremely important for you to add to your life portfolio. You guys know that nonverbal communication is 85 to 90% of communication. Just seeing when someone's talking to you, how their body is moving, how their eyes shift, their hand movements, and you can really tell when somebody is full of BS and when someone's actually sincere and authentic.
Yeah, definitely.
He said, now, behave, lovebirds.
I know. Who said that?
Shango, because I said I rub my arms that night. Waiting on those SFI, Thor Arms merchandise. Cousin Rue, don't you start. Don't even start. But the baby knocked all of my books and stuff down to get to his toys. But look what was in. It's all dusty. Y'all remember that? I sat and read that.
The Boat Away by Michael Saylor.
But look how dusty it is, babe.
It's a tough read. It's a good book. It's a tough read.
Well, it's a little outdated now.
Yeah, but you can see where he was coming from back then.
Great book, though.
Yeah, so number 9, let me get out of here because...
we're at the 122.
Okay, number 9, all human beings are aggressive by nature, but controlled aggression can be put for good use.
So all human beings are aggressive by nature. The aggression can be put to good use. Good use aggression is ambition, like point blank, period. Right? Your most ambitious people, and I'm not talking about the Carisha ambition, not talking about that, right? No Diddy, no. We're talking about good aggression, good ambition that will get you from point A to point B to point C to point D, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So you're saying you're going straight bridge line aggression to ambition. Good
aggression, because he specified that.
Controlled aggression.
Right, controlled aggression for good use is ambition. But you're not so ambitious, right? We're talking about the polarity now, right? Your Hermetic principle. We're not talking about the ambition of, I will do anything you tell me to do for $100. Right? Okay. I would be put in any precarious situation for some money. That's also ambition, but it's not for good use. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was seeing it a different way, but that's okay. That's okay.
So that's why I said not the Carisha level ambition, but ambition career-wise, ambition investment-wise, ambition nation-building-wise. That controlled aggression. You have to be aggressive. You have to be assertive. You have to be in control, right? You have to be able to respond and not react. That way you maintain the control in a situation.
The control of your aggression.
But you need the aggression in order to control the situation for good use, right? And that's the disclosure right there. Controlled aggression is put to good use.
Yes.
That's why I went and did the hermetic polar opposite for Carisha, right? Her ambition is, I would do anything for anything.
But see, I
for some
don't know.
money.
I don't know who that is, so it throws me off.
Carisha is Young Miami.
I don't know who that is. See, these guys, these people.
They know. Y'all know what I'm saying.
See, they stay on top of this stuff.
Right,
I don't really
Carisha,
follow this
please.
stuff,
But they were basically getting to the point where she kept telling people in the music she was willing to do anything for $100.
Yeah, but what happens
or
is,
for $200,000.
I mean,
and that gets you into trouble.
But no disrespect to what you're talking about. But what happens is you're talking about controlled aggression through men, and that's what it really gets down to.
Right, but like I said, even in men, controlled aggression put to good use is still ambition.
It is, but
no matter how you shake it down, it's ambition.
But it has to be done in a different way, correct?
Put to good use, yes.
But it's done in a different way.
It's done in an above board way because it's being put to good use. That's the disclosure right there. He didn't just say controlled aggression. He said controlled aggression that is put to good use. And that is what ambition is. That is I have this goal that I want to achieve, and this is how I'm going to get there. This is how I'm going to execute.
Okay.
And this is how I'm going to continue to build and build and scale out and build and build.
So, but as a black man, your controlled aggression, does that mean you're...
still ambition.
Does it mean you're tap dancing?
No. Well, to me, if you're tap dancing, you're not controlling your aggression, you're actually repressing it.
So repression...
because you're capitulating at that point if you're tap dancing.
You are tap dancing.
You're capitulating. So that's not controlled aggression. That's repressed aggression, two very different things. And you're capitulating to the dominant culture.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Cousin Shango said, I'm so chill, super chill until those I love or my ability to provide for them are threatened. Then F around and find out. He said, did she end up being on yep, she got listed as a sex worker on federal papers. It's right, not a celebrity, not an influencer, not a high profile individual. You got listed as a sex worker. So that is, Cousin Rue do a good thing on the Hermetic Principles. I'm gonna have him come back on soon, Cousin Rue, and do the Hermetic Principles with you guys. I don't know if any of you guys read the Kabbalion, which really, not to say that these principles are a little different, but I felt like he was trying to expand on the Kabbalion and make it his own.
Oh yeah, but because that's all you can.
And that's all you can do, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Solomon told us that. But Cousin Rue do a great breakdown on the Kabbalion and the Hermetic Principles, and I was just explaining the polarity between the two, right? Controlled aggression, ambition here, but is her aggression controlled? Is Diddy's aggression controlled here, right? In his ambition, and it's not. Yeah, it's actually run amok, and that is what's getting him into trouble.
Yeah, but that's on high level, but when you just at work, if you have aggression that gets out of control.
You're gonna be Vernon Brown?
Well, who can get mad? Can I get mad at work?
Do you remember that?
Can you get mad at work?
No, I cannot. I can't even.
If you get mad at work,
I can't even be too concise, because if I am too concise, it comes off as cold, unapproachable, and I'm just stating a fact. So like I have to smile when I talk, and.
But if I got mad, they were like, hey.
But do you remember Vernon Brown? Yeah, Dave Chappelle allowed me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, bitch.
You can't be.
H to the O. Y'all remember that Dave Chappelle when Keeping It Real go wrong?
Yeah, you can't.
I can't remember what he asked them though.
Yeah, you can't.
It was like
you have to control your aggression and make it work for you. As you get older, you'll learn that. If you're younger, sometimes you let it go.
He said exactly because she was willing to do anything. She tell you that in all her songs. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I could be wrong, but she was named in the case, like I said, as a sex worker, not as a high-profile individual. She wasn't a redacted individual, because a lot of the high-profile people in that case, their names were redacted because of their high profile. She wasn't named as a celebrity. She wasn't named as an influencer. She wasn't named as a rapper or a musical whatever. She was named as a sex worker.
So do we feel sorry for her or something? Or what?
No,
they
were just mentioning that. Cousin Rue said at Bitcoin Shango, honestly, I can at least $20 LCX in the next 2 years, not financial advice. BK Crypto said, y'all are very eclectic. We're Aquarius, and that's the problem. BK Crypto. It's the eclectic is the Aquarian that you're feeling. All of the stuff that we look into and think about and talk about and implement in our life. Your kids have a wide range. Our kids are. Sean's probably the most normal kid in the house. Diddy and Clive Davis been wild out here. They've been wilding for years. And Quincy Jones been wilding.
No, not Quincy.
BK Crypto says so, New York. Yes, I have to watch that. The New York in me, I have to be very careful at work. Is that my mother?
No.
I told you, she know when I'm live. She's like, I'm gonna call and interrupt your live anyway. She's gonna call back.
Yeah, that's all right. Because I'm gonna try to shut it down for you guys.
Yeah, we're at the 1 hour.
Let me get number 10 in. Let me get number 10 in, if I can. So this is a good one. All right, we are all number 10. This is number 10 of Laws of Human Nature. We are all influenced by generational values and can benefit from embracing the fact of death.
Say it one more time.
Oh boy, let's do it one more time. We are all influenced by generational values.
We are all influenced by generational values.
And can benefit from embracing the fact of death.
And can benefit from embracing the fact of death. I had no idea what that meant the first time Simon read it to me. I said, what does that mean?
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Go ahead and tell them.
Okay.
It still kind of don't make sense to me, but I guess I get it. You can't appreciate tradition without laws.
No, I mean, so this is the way I took it from when I read the book. So you will have generational values, whether they come from above you, or you're starting your generational values at this level with your family. But the embracing of death is, so he was taking it, he was getting more metaphysical with it right here. You have to embrace the fact of death, right? You can build all the Bitcoin up in the world, you can build all the silver up in the world. You're gonna die. So you have to embrace the death, but you have to build in the generational values within that.
But you can't appreciate the generational values without the loss.
Yes.
Without the death. You can't appreciate what your grandmother poured into you. And a lot of times people don't, right? While she's here. Like I just said that about my mom, but I should have just answered, right? One day I won't have her interrupting my life. So you can't appreciate those generational values without loss.
Yes, and the values that were poured into you by the people who may be the lost, right? And if we're going to be the lost, pouring into them, they have to appreciate.
They won't be able to appreciate those values until then as well.
But you have to embrace death. Like, we would have to embrace death.
Yeah.
We all have to embrace
I think the Western culture is one of the only cultures, and Cousin Rue would probably be able to back me on this better than anybody. It's the Western generation or the Western culture that seems to be scared of death, right? The Eastern Asians, they're at peace with it. Hispanics, you can see how they handle death, to the point of, they have the Day of the Dead. They have an acceptance of it. It's really us in the Western culture that there's a fear of mortality. People don't like to talk about it. People don't want to plan it. It's like if I act on this energy any which way, shape, or form, I'm going to drop dead like right now. And it's like, I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
That fear of mortality, that fear of discussion of mortality, that the idea that you're going to live and work forever, right? I don't know where that comes from.
Hey, Cousin Rue, you out there, you already know, we talked about Brother Panic. You know what he said about death. You know what he said about death. He was ready. He was ready for it. And people have to be ready because it's going to happen. And, so you have to, I'm tying this back because he's speaking about your life in general. I'm just tying this back to investments, Bitcoin, stuff like that. You have to have your family ready. Like, hey, this is what we need. Here are the keys in case I die. And people are like, oh, man, no, it might happen. Here's the credit cards.
Right,
here's this. Here's that. Here's the silver.
The handoffs, you
Yeah.
have to have them done early. Even if you live to a ripe old age, you're still going to die one day. And I don't know, maybe I'll get with Cousin Rue because life has no meaning or purpose without death. And I think Cousin Rue could probably help me like put together the metaphysics behind it. And one thing I like about how Cousin Rue, like how he do his shows and stuff and how he break down and explain stuff is he break it down to the finest. He almost does it like a metaphysical engineer. And I really appreciate that. That quality, that skill that he has when he's breaking down information. So I think I'm gonna bother you again, Cousin Rue, for us to do some type of show. We can still tie it back to Bitcoin some which way, shape, or form, but to really talk about the importance of death, because it is death that gives life purpose and meaning, and
and
the permanence of the death in the short span of life.
The permanence of the death, and also if you got to tie it back to Bitcoin, people better be transferring off, handing off their Bitcoin, or you just get
it's
more
just lost
Bitcoin
forever, and it's dead in a sense. Like there's a death there.
It's a death there. And so you got to make sure if you have some Bitcoin, I don't care how many socials you got, make sure somebody got access to them, because anything can happen tomorrow. You guys go down your timeline, people are dying at any
young
age.
people.
Don't act like you're gonna live to 100. Make sure that you're ready.
Okay, it looks like BK Crypto saw my email. I hope. T. Will Line Man for Hire. He was talking about things like, man, my grandmother always told me, but now she's gone, and you get it, right? And now the things she told you have more importance and more meaning than ever, because you can't take advantage of the opportunity to just call her whenever you want to anymore. Bitcoin Shango says some generational values are great, some not so much. Agreed. They're curses, right? They're not even values, they're just curses. Death was usually avoided in casual conversations. Now I speak to my sons about Bitcoin and how it's my love for them after I'm gone. Yeah, I think we're kind of waking up as a community and having more conversations, but I want to sit down with Cousin Rue and kind of figure out like where does that fear come from? Like where did that come from when the rest of the world embraces death and understands it to its metaphysical purpose and point? Why do we in the Western world, why do we run from it? Why do we shy? We don't talk about it. We don't want to say it. Like we're going to conjure up the spirit of death. I cast that down in the name of the mighty Yahusha, the Black Madonna. Dia de los Muertos. But my West African faith embraces death. We honor our dead, we pray to them and say how much we love and miss them. So the ancestors. Cousin Ruth said, yeah, it's true, Western society. You're right, Brother Panic spoke on it. I think that the West does that because it makes people reckless consumers. That is a good perception of it. To get you to I knew you would know, Cousin Rue. I knew you would know. Panic was really good about speaking about death. The brother wasn't afraid. He was ready. Thank goodness. He put out so much content.
Yeah, Brother Panic, man, was a homie, man. I dealt with him since, 2010, 2011.
If anybody got 1 million hours of content, I bet he comes close.
Yeah, so Panic, man. Panic was the homie, man.
But I think he knew, Rue, because didn't you see towards the end, he was doing 9, 12, 14-hour shows. I said, you remember how long the shows were?
They're getting up to like 8 hours and stuff. But
I think he had a show that was almost 11 hours.
I missed that one, man.
And we used to have to watch it over the course of like a week, Cousin Rue, because it's such a long show. He used to get sidetracked to talk about Marley Marr, the bridge. For those of y'all who don't know, Panic was a New Yorker who grew up in Queensbridge Projects.
Everybody from Queens.
So he used to always get detracted and digress, and he used to be in love with Thelma from Good Times, so we got to hear it for the millionth time, the time that he met her. He was a hot mess. He was hilarious. Remember somebody called him Brother Pantry? Because he was always eating snacks.
Oh, the other dudes.
He used to eat the snacks all the time. But we are way over. We love y'all so much, but we do want you guys to always have that heightened, baby is dead, that heightened sense of mind shift, perception, awareness, right? Create your boundaries. Like we talked about when we talked about the sand on the speaker, when you play the high frequency noise, some of those sand grains, a lot of them they're not going to conform to the high frequency shape, and design. Is he crying? Oh, they're gonna fall right off the speaker. And you have to let some of these people in your lives fall off the speaker. If they're not gonna conform to your high vibration, they gotta go, right? Don't cash that check out to them with your time, with your energy, with your patience, with your knowledge, right? We read in the Bible all the time. It is a book of wisdom. He says, do not cast your pearls before swine, right? They're gonna eat it and poop it out. And you've wasted your time when you could have given that to someone who sees the value in your pearls, in your wisdom, in your jewels, and will take it and implement it and change their life. Yeah, he said my man loved those snacks. Yes, the gummies and stuff, right? Bitcoin Shango said, thank you, have a great day. We love y'all. Today is Monday. We will see you guys on Wednesday. And definitely, this is day one of quarter two. It's not too late for you to implement don't come here with all that crying. This is a great time for you to implement day one of quarter two. 12-week year is simply using each week as a month. You can get a lot of stuff done, or you can get a little bit of stuff done. You don't have to have this long list of goals. You can just have a small list of goals, 1 to 5 goals that you really want to work towards, and spend the quarter working towards those goals. Right? But start practicing. Even if you don't get it right this quarter, keep practicing until you get to that quarter where you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I have my time management down. I have my resources down, right? I know who I'm cashing in time checks to, and I'm going to get some stuff done. I'm going to get the up leveling that I'm looking for. I'm going to get the outcomes that I'm seeking. It's not too late. If you guys need anything from us, assets.arbitrage@gmail.com. Get your crypto swag from BK Crypto. That's our cousin. We want to support him. We talked about this. And definitely follow Bitcoin Shango if you guys are trying to stay up on all things crypto. I would also follow Bitcoin Chris as well.
That's the homie.
I would absolutely follow those cousins. We love y'all. We want y'all to have a great evening.